every SpongeBob theory that turned out to be true. Now, I don't know nothing about SpongeBob, so this all will be new to me.
The incredibly popular fan theory that Bikini Bottom is actually based off of Bikini Atoll, which, if you didn't know, was actually an incredibly popular testing ground for American nuclear weapons.
Oh yeah, I seen that in the other video. Never mind.
In the Pacific Ocean and being used by the US in the 1940s and 50s. And as the theory states, this created a bunch of mutated fish in Bikini Bottom that can now walk, talk, and, well, do things that other non-mutated fish can only dream of.
Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, how's they down there now that I think about it? Didn't they explain how these two niggas will walk around? They ain't, I don't know. Oh, no, they got powers, I remember. I'm stupid. Get my big.
And evidence to support this theory came initially in 2021 when the
episode
Who's a Big Boy in the Patrick Star Show
How they not mutated?
Patrick going back
No,
in
they
time
are.
to
They got powers.
Bottom,
come on, bro. Really
there
think,
were
bro.
several
Start
signs
thinking,
of
dude, before you
nuclear
talking.
testing, including a sign that literally says nuclear testing area, and even dozens of mannequins that are all prepped for nuclear weapons.
No hard feelings. I'll let myself out. I said no hard feelings!
Hell nah, Patrick. Yo show garbage, boy. Yo show garbage. You thought I was laughing at something in your show? No, you not funny, dude.
Nuclear weapons in the real-life Bikini Atoll, there were many different kinds of chipmunks that were actually kept on many of the Navy ships, which of course would explain the character Sandy, and also why she constantly wears a protective suit.
Now that I think about it, how do this even make sense? Hold on. Now that I think about generally, how do this make sense? Look, think about it like this. She's down in the water. Only reason she can't breathe when her stuff off is because she's in the water. How do you get a pickle jar and put it over your head and you could breathe? Wouldn't water still be in it because you're underwater? Like, you feel like, hey, come on, bro, like, genuinely, like, really think about it like now. Like, really think about it. How do that even make sense?
However, by far the most obvious link to Bikini Atoll is the sheer amount of explosions that take place in Bikini Bottom. I mean, if you watched a lot of SpongeBob growing up like I did, then you'll most likely have seen dozens of random explosions and always wondered why.
Uh-oh.
And after years of speculation,
it is a lot of explosions in this shit.
Based off of the Bikini Atoll nuclear testing site, was confirmed by all of the SpongeBob team in 2024, when they sat around a panel discussing fan theories and confirmed this one to be true.
I always liked the theory that the whole thing was related to the atomic testing in Bikini Atoll.
Oh, yeah, shit. And that is true. That is absolutely.
It is.
Why did it make it seem like they forgot about it or something? If they knew what it was about, they confirmed it. How did they forget it?
Patty's secret formula.
Oh, let me find out they was lying.
The inception of SpongeBob in 1999, there have been an insane amount of theories as to what the secret ingredient of a Krabby Patty actually is.
Isn't it a crab?
This then
I know this one. It's crabs.
Reddit posts, and even entire online wars debating the subject. And throughout all of these posts, a few theories stood out, with the first of these being that the reason we haven't seen Pearl's mother is that Mr. Krabs is actually using her meat to make Krabby Patties.
No way it's lasting that long though, right?
Isn't a wild enough theory? Well, then some people even believe that Mr. Krabs is a complete psychopath who massacres all of the crabs in Bikini Bottom and puts them into his signature.
That's the one I seen. I ain't seen a Pearl one yet. Her mother one is crazy.
Pieces of SpongeBob.
Wouldn't he still be a psychopath if he did that with her mother?
He jokes about himself, plankton meat.
4 heaping pounds of freshly ground plankton?
However, in amongst all of the noise, there was a small group of SpongeBob fanatics that stated that since there was no cows in Bikini Bottom, well, then the Krabby Patty itself would have had to have been made with non-meat based ingredients. And in a rather funny twist, this theory turned out to be 100% right, as in 2016, the late showrunner Steven Hillenburg confirmed that the Krabby Patty was actually a vegan burger, and that funnily enough, he actually hated the unhealthy nature of fast food, which of course fans naturally pointed to when SpongeBob did their infamous Wendy's collaboration, with many fans of the show stating that this went against Hillenburg's wishes.
It literally doesn't even make sense. If the Krabby Patty is a vegan burger, why is it at Wendy's? Genuinely.
Grab up those fryers, because I am sure hungry for one Krabby Patty.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And so, swiftly moving on,
My bad, I
our
forgot
next
my
SpongeBob
stuff.
theory that turned
My
out
bad,
to
I
be
forgot my
true
stuff. Is it
about
this?
diagnosing SpongeBob.
Oh my god, I forgot my
And
stuff. Hold
no,
on.
This isn't about him being one of the
Which one is it?
This isn't about
that
him
one.
being one of the 7 deadly sins or being mortally depressed, but rather fans of the show have speculated for many years that
I always thought that
SpongeBob
SpongeBob
might
was
actually be
depressed.
autistic.
Wonderful weather we're having.
Yes, it is.
Okay, see you around.
I mean, he's a super rigid person when it comes to maintaining routine. He frequently shows signs of getting sensory overload, and he often takes things that people say too literally, whilst also missing out on social cues and sarcasm.
He don't take
And
nothing he
despite
say.
this being a
He don't
hotly
take
debated
nothing.
subject on SpongeBob forums for years, this theory
Mrs.
was
Puff say
finally
too literally.
confirmed in July of 2024 by none other than the voice of SpongeBob, Tom Kenny himself, who stated in a panel discussion that not only is SpongeBob on the spectrum, but that being autistic is actually SpongeBob's superpower.
SpongeBob himself autistic as a character, and I said, yes, of course. I said, of course he is. And I said, you know what? That's his superpower. The same way it's your superpower. You know, the same way it's Jenna's superpower.
Did you just call me
And honestly,
autistic,
when I
boy?
first saw the
Did you just call me autistic? You just said my superpower. I'm not autistic, twin. Only on the weekends. It's not the weekend, but it's what, Thursday?
Revealed this theory.
Thursday,
But,
twin.
of
Don't call me
course, let me
autistic
know
yet.
in the comments below, did you ever suspect that SpongeBob was autistic?
I
And
didn't really
carrying
care. I'm gonna
on,
keep it a
our
buck.
next SpongeBob theory that
But
turned
I
out
didn't
to
know
be
about
true
that.
is the infamous television theory.
had
However,
no idea.
before we get onto that, today's video is sponsored by Mantis Sleep.
Alright. Good shit, man. Tis the genuinely.
Off video.
Good shit.
Anyways, back to SpongeBob. The television theory was popularized by YouTuber Alex Bale back in 2021, and theorizes that the entirety of Bikini Bottom is a constructed television set, which, much like The Truman Show, has dozens of paid actors, including Mr. Krabs and Sandy, that are strategically placed so that no one finds out that their reality is choreographed.
Get one right now, Squidward!
What episode is this?
French narrator speaking.
Hey, Frenchie, it's me, Sandy.
Ah, Sandy Cheeks. How is it hanging?
And the key evidence that's presented for this theory is that firstly, the narrator of the show himself can be seen in the episode No Free Rides being directly hit by SpongeBob's car and revealing that he is in fact a human who, by the way, has a full camera and snorkeling set, which of course he's using to capture the town of Bikini Bottom.
Means the whole year of boarding school!
How is he not getting affected by the
And secondly, this theory is
radiation,
also
though?
bolstered by the claim that the various human hands that we see plastered throughout the show are actually the television crew themselves ensuring that SpongeBob doesn't get hurt. Which, I mean, considering the fact that he's worth an estimated
No wonder how Gorilla got down there.
billion, I can kind of see why they're doing this. However, by far the most convincing part of this entire theory comes from Season 6's Truth or Square, where after SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward get lost in the Krusty Krab vents, they then stumble across a room that Mr. Krabs keeps hidden that literally has live recordings inside every building in Bikini Bottom. Which, I mean, yeah, this definitely helps the theory.
Look, it's Sandy!
Hell no. In the bathroom is crazy. In the bathroom is crazy.
Why do you have cameras watching us? Oh, I just want to make sure you all floss after every meal.
Although, the piece of evidence that makes television theory pretty much unanimously accepted across the SpongeBob fanbase is that when SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward realized that they're being recorded within this secret room, well, then two more characters that are literally camera crew are caught red-handed in the act of recording them.
Fire.
think it's us, Patrick.
That's fire.
And
How do they not realize they're getting followed?
Very loosely try to
Yo, somebody look at me too long, I start to notice it.
We can all agree that television
Genuinely.
is confirmed.
Bro, who you looking at, bro?
However,
I can feel the stairs like, oh my god. Cold stairs in my neck, genuinely.
And I know that sounds wild, but let me explain. You see, in the classic season 1 episode SB129, after being annoyed once again to his very limit by SpongeBob and Patrick, Squidward decides to hide in the Krusty Krab freezer to get some refuge.
Yo, one of my
And
favorite.
after he's unfrozen, we would see SpongeBob and his 486 clones in the future, as well as SpongeBob literally existing since the dawn of time in the prehistoric ages, where both he and Patrick would play some rather silly games to pass the time. And at this point, you may be thinking, isn't this just another version of...
What's y'all favorite episode of SpongeBob, bro? My favorite episode of SpongeBob has to be the one where Squidward was eating all those Krabby Patties inside of there, and he got those thick ass thighs and he blew up. Genuinely, that has to be the best.
Well, no, as we see Squidward teaching the Neanderthal version of SpongeBob how to jellyfish. And then, thousands of years later, SpongeBob thanks Squidward for this invention.
Does this mean you want to go jellyfishing?
No! Oh, who's the barnacle head who invented that game anyway?
You.
You are, Squidward.
Although, this isn't the only proof that we have that SpongeBob is immortal, as we would then see his Spongehenge creations live on forever, as well as being an immortal glass on wheels in the episode PL1413. And as mentioned before, with SpongeBob being worth $13.7 billion, well, Nickelodeon and every other company that benefits from SpongeBob are going to make damn sure that SpongeBob never dies. Which, of course, confirms the theory that SpongeBob is immortal. And so, before we get onto our final SpongeBob theory that turned out to be true, here are a few honorable mentions.
But you didn't really like show no proof that that's true. Well, he showed proof, but not proof that they telling us is true.
Merely playing dumb.
Wait a minute, Squidward. They might be onto something.
What?
If you could make a big enough burp,
we could filter the CO2 through our ballast tanks, refire the engines, and ride the shockwave out of here.
That would mean Patrick is also immortal though, right?
With this theory being confirmed several times throughout the show, with one of the funniest examples of this coming from Season 2's The Secret Box, where Patrick tells SpongeBob about his secret box, and then has SpongeBob on absolute strings for the entire 11-minute duration of this episode. With
he was on that boy Patrick.
SpongeBob until he finally reveals his deception that there's only a piece of string in the box.
Good thing he didn't pull the secret string opening the secret compartment of my secret box, revealing one embarrassing snapshot of SpongeBob at the Christmas party.
And boy, if that isn't the
show us the picture, bruh.
Genius toying with his prey, then I don't know what is. However, moving on, our second honorary mention is the theory that Squidward is actually a musical genius, which he so often brags about, and that it's the rest of Bikini Bottom that has a problem.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
And I still remember reading this theory in the late 2010s and thinking it was absolutely crazy. However, this theory would actually be confirmed true in the episode PL1413, in which it's revealed that one day after Squidward dies, that the entire world recognizes his music as absolute genius, with Squidward going down as the greatest artist to ever live.
Sadly, no one started listening to them until the day after he was gone.
Typical.
And so, for the moment you've all been waiting for, our final
That's
SpongeBob
crazy.
theory
Now that I
turned
think
out-
about it, like, even when it came to like certain things, Bikini Bottom would be able to learn how to do certain things, but when it came to when Squidward was trying to teach them how to do music correctly, none of them genuinely could play none of the instruments that they was playing. But once he was gone, they was able to do things. They was able to learn music. So it's like, that makes sense then. His genius is probably so good that other people couldn't really do what he was telling them to do. But my father is calling me. But yeah, though, back to what I was saying. It was probably so good, like he had his standards too high for them, basically.
To be true surrounds the controversy of the show's creator Steven Hillenburg and his vision for SpongeBob after he passed away. You see, for many years now, SpongeBob fans have actively criticized the direction that the franchise is going in post Hillenburg's death, with of course the example of the Wendy's collaboration that I mentioned.
Yeah, because this
before
didn't make
angering
sense.
fans
This just don't make
tremendously.
sense.
However, this isn't the only point of contention, as many diehard fans, as well as even former showrunner Paul Tibbett, explicitly stated that the countless spin-offs that SpongeBob has produced go directly against Steven Hillenburg's wishes, although a small minority of fans have stood up for the ever-expanding SpongeBob universe, stating that Hillenburg would have loved to have seen his creation grow, with
No, he
this
wouldn't
theory
have.
then being
I feel like he would have
confirmed
ended it
by
a long time
longtime
ago.
SpongeBob creative director Vincent Waller, who clarified things in 2021 by stating that Hillenburg was aware of the spin-offs and that he said that Steven never got to see them come to fruition. Although I must say, fans weren't buying this at all. And to this day, most fans of SpongeBob believe that the continual spin-offs ultimately go against the direct wishes of the show's creator. However, let me know in the comments, what do you think?
Because he would have thought, oh, I want spin-offs when he was here. Why would he, like, you feel what I'm saying? When he was involved, he would have thought, oh, spin-offs. And let me think of some stuff real quick to do it good. Because first of all, in the other video, they said when he left, the show started going down. He came back, the show started going up again. He ended up dying, unfortunately, RIP, once again. It went right back down. There ain't no way on God's green earth that man wanted y'all boys to make spin-offs and keep making episodes of his stuff, and y'all making it worse every time he leave. Hey. Hit that follow goal, come to the Twitch, it's gonna be in the description. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me y'all favorite episodes of SpongeBob, tell me why it's your favorite episode. Hey man, without further ado though, we out.